Episode 24.
That is correct.
Kobe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, original Kobe. Or no, was original Kobe 8 or 24?
8.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because then
he switched to 24?
Then he said he switched to 24 because at the end of the day, he was going to be one better than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And I always held that against him. And then later in my life, I said, that's fucking raw.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what he was shooting for. I still don't understand the people who think that LeBron is like the de facto 2. Or, I mean, for some people who just consider him the number 1.
Yeah, I think it depends on like what you're defining with that argument.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you really gotta, like, are you saying greatest career? Or are you saying, one game and your life is on the line? Like I think there's a bunch of different little mini arguments to go inside of there. But
I also don't really like, in general, declaring like greatest of all times. Because it's like every 20 years, sports completely flip. It's like you have to compare it like generation to generation,
Yeah.
Like, why is Bill Russell considered the greatest of all time? Motherfucker has like 11 fucking championships, Like,
is Bill Russell like the Babe Ruth of the NBA?
Well, even then, though, like, why isn't Babe Ruth still considered the greatest of all time?
I'm saying, like, how Babe Ruth, they're like, well, you aren't facing, like, black and Hispanic pitching, you know what I mean? And then Bill Russell's kind of like the opposite. It's like, you're the one fucking black guy in the league, just
well, it was him and Wilt.
Crushing all of these plumbers, Like, but I don't know why he doesn't get that, run.
Yeah.
Because who really came about after that to take it away from him? Like,
Bill?
Who did
Russell?
who did Jordan take it away from? Magic?
Well, yeah, it was Magic and Larry at that point. But I mean, even that was
even then,
mid to late 80s,
Larry's got what, 3 titles and Magic has 3?
3. Does Larry have 3 or does Larry have 2?
I thought he had 3.
Maybe he does have 3. I don't know. But the Pistons, I guess, 2 in that era.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're talking like stars of the 70s, I guess that was.
I don't know who that was. Like,
yeah, was that like the Jerry West years and shit? But even then, Jerry West was losing to fucking the Celtics too.
Like Dr. J.
Yeah, Dr. J. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I think it's tough. To do that. It's the same thing with football too. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of guys from like pre-merger, like that. Who's the guy that played for the Browns?
Jim Brown.
Nah, he's a quarterback for the Browns.
Otto Graham?
Yeah. He has a ton of quarterback records that he's like the answer to a ton of trivia questions. Like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
And you go back and look at it and you're like, is this the same? I don't know if this is the same.
Yeah, well, that's just it. It's like, but you can't hold that against the guy because it's like, fucking Fran Tarkington had like a bunch of fucking passing records in the 70s. And it's like, well, yeah, because he was the only motherfucker throwing the ball,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you hold it against him.
Yeah.
Like especially with like sports technology and like everything that they got into it nowadays. You know what I mean? Like being a pro athlete, if you're dialed in, you're like a nerd of that thing.
Yeah.
Like these guys back in the day, it's like their other job. It's like beer league to them.
Yeah, I guess. Like I said, I just think it's comparing apples to oranges. A lot of times they're 2 entirely different sports than like what you're even talking about.
Yeah.
Especially in basketball. Basketball now fucking sucks. So I don't care who's the best of all time right now because this sport blows. So
yeah, I don't know what they did to I don't know why they
got rid of defense and they got rid of fucking the interior game.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
Because they think that people want to see points and they don't. Like I don't want to see 137 points scored in a game, especially all on 3 balls. Like who gives a fuck?
Remember when that used to be like you'd be like, did you see the All-Star game last night? And it'd have like that.
It's like 117 to 115. It was crazy.
No, it doesn't even keep up.
Yeah, when the fuck was the last time that like a winning team won a game while scoring 88 points? Like under 90. It used to happen all the fucking time. I bet you haven't seen one in fucking a decade.
You have to have like 2 defensive powerhouses playing each other.
Is there such a thing? Like, do those teams exist anymore?
Yeah. Well, like a team on the rebuild that's like defensively minded, that's number 1 offensive player is out.
Yeah.
And the same on the other side.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, are we in this right now? Did we already start? We already started, right?
I don't know. If we got that episode 24, Kobe.
Yeah. we should have a sound of a helicopter crashing right there.
I don't like that.
No.
That's probably like the last guy that died that like made me sad.
I mean, look, man, I don't want anyone to die, and I didn't want Kobe to die, but like, motherfucker died because he was trying to beat traffic. Like, what a dumbass thing to do.
Or
Is this a fucking conspiracy?
It is.
Ah, god damn it. I feel like I walked right into this one.
I was like, oh, here we go.
Who is Kobe suing that they had to get out? Yeah, of course.
He was suing some sort of
biochemical engineering fucking thing where he found out that they were like taking Jewish babies and crushing them into fucking into pharmaceutical drugs. Yeah.
No, he said I think it's basically like some sort of like anti-inflammatory, like mild level painkillers had like traces of opioids in them.
Yeah. I think he just died in a helicopter accident.
I think that could be it too, but he definitely had a lawsuit if you look into it against a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah. I feel like though when you're at that level of business or like just that like everybody who has that much money has a lawsuit pending about something, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's just it's above our heads to even like fathom that. But I bet you there's like sports celebrities, sports stars, there's influential media moguls that have so many fucking lawsuits that they don't even know how many they have, So I don't put too much stock on that.
I know Kobe's got a bad rap for the R word stuff early in his career.
Yeah.
But I think like later in his career, he did. I feel like this is where he did like separate himself from Jordan in his like philanthropic kind of like.
Jordan didn't do shit for anyone.
And Kobe was still interested in taking you to the next level, even if it wasn't in basketball.
Yeah.
He's quoted as asking you like, what is your I just had it when I wanted to start talking about this, but he's like, what's your next play? What's your next level? Like, what are you doing after this? Like, this is not it for you. Like, what is it? And, he had the daughters, they were playing basketball. He was with them trying to elevate their game. And that's what they were off on their way to was a girls' basketball tournament.
Yeah.
And it was like, I want to say his daughter, another daughter, that daughter's set of parents. Like, it basically was, like a kid's trip that they were on. It wasn't like a leisure thing. And I think, I'm not trying to
leave a half hour earlier.
I'm not trying to get too serious on this, but I think Kobe was on like a trajectory to start helping people lead better lives. Like I could have seen Kobe making a transition into politics.
Yeah, I mean,
as crazy as that sounds, but it seems like he had found a passion for, developing people in real life, not just in sports.
Yeah.
And I think that we might have lost that shit. Like, I think, all that Black Lives Matter and shit that popped off during quarantine and everything, like, you're not telling me that, like, Kobe could have, like, got everybody together. And I don't know. I just think he was like a solid, like, voice that, like, that people looked up to. You know what I mean? He had dominated the NBA. I feel like you could have got the attention, like, his words speaking could have got the attention of, like, inner city kids that were like hopeless and shit.
Yeah.
And if he started having more philanthropic mission, I don't know. I just think the world would have been a better place if Kobe got to play his next mission out.
Yeah. I mean, he also could have gotten wrapped up in fucking cryptocurrency and swindled a bunch of assholes out of their retirement funds.
You know, I saw, that guy that I sent you that you don't want to believe? He's the Rush Limbaugh guy.
Yeah.
He had a thing saying that Jordan's broke because of cryptocurrency.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Who sells an NBA team?
Oh, yeah.
Jordan sold his team.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, the money, they traced the money or whatever, and that was involved in something that had to do in, like, the GameStop short.
Yeah.
So, like, his investment group, like, tried to get in on something to do with the GameStop thing, and they lost.
Yeah.
And now Jordan's kind of just sitting there fucked. Like,
I mean, it makes sense if you're fucking if you're a guy like Jordan,
Nike money now.
Yeah, well, if he's constantly fucking making bets all across like everything, it's like it's only a matter of time before you start losing.
Like Jordan's end story is like
like DMX.
No, there's like a drug movie with John Leguizamo in it.
Spun, the crystal meth movie.
No, he's more of like
Carlito's Way.
He's like a hustler, and I think Denise Richards is in it too.
It goes on with
and
I don't know. I think I've named all the good John Leguizamo movies.
He's like a
Super Mario Brothers?
No. He's like a street hustler, and then he meets this guy that's like a Wall Street broker or whatever. You know what I mean? And, and the Wall Street broker convinces him to give him all his drug money so he can go, the money now is legit with a paper trail. And then the guy disappears.
Yeah.
And the guy's left with nothing. And I think the dude, whatever he does, he burns somebody to get all that money, and then he ends up getting, well, all right, we don't know the name of the movie, but he ends up getting popped at the end of the movie. And
spoiler alert for the movie title, we don't know.
That's how I feel like just happened to MJ. You know what I mean? He just lived this like illustrious life, and then at the end, at like the 11th hour, somebody just fucked you out of like all your money, and now you got to look like a schmuck.
Well, I mean, luckily they can only kill his dad once.
Wow.
So, I mean, do you want to just run down the list of any other horrible things to happen to the basketball world that I can make fun of?
I don't know. I think that's it. I mean, you want to talk about, I mean, we're missing Karl Malone having a child with like a 12-year-old.
Oh, yeah. That was.
You know about that?
Yeah, I do know that one. Yeah, he's cool. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's quite ornery.
Well, yeah. Speaking of total pieces of shit, how about Donald Trump being our next president?
Yeah?
Yeah. I personally think it's hilarious.
I think it's like hilarious for like all the people that think that like
it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think it does matter on small levels, but on this like I don't know, like that girl screaming last time. You know, like
I know. Yeah, the meme. Yeah.
Like I don't understand. Like if this is what I kind of figured out too. This is where like if you want to talk to me about politics, you have to be at least willing to think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
That the government did 9/11. If you if you don't think that the government did 9/11 and you trust the government to do right by you and all, you know what I mean, and all of this, then I just can't talk politics with you because we're not like operating in the same world.
The only pushback I have against that isn't that I think the government would be above doing that. It's just that historically speaking, the government doesn't kill earners in the top 1%, which is exactly who died on that day. So
yeah,
to be know. Like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Did they?
Well, I don't know.
Who actually, let's look it up. Who really actually fucking died in there that was rich as hell? I feel like there's a lot of people that didn't make it to work on that day.
I don't
know. Like, oh, luckiest day of my life.
The bottom line is if you take down the financial center like of the fucking country, I bet you there was a lot of guys in there making $550,000 a year that day.
Maybe.
So.
I mean, it was the whole thing was like a book clearing event, so maybe you just had to get those bad contracts off your books too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, whatever. I'm just saying, historically speaking, that's not usually how it goes.
Yeah.
It's usually fucking poor people killing other poor people. That's the American. That's where you get the stamp of approval
but they're being
from America.
Directed by the rich to kill those poors.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I just think that kind of that boils it down to me. It's like people who wanted Kamala to win were like people who are like the government's going to do right by us, and people that wanted Trump to win are like I don't trust the government. I'd rather just make it on my own.
Yeah,
and I think that was the line in the sand, and it's not. What did it end up being? Like a few million votes? Or something?
Yeah,
was it a landslide?
I mean, if you consider that, like, even when Trump won the last time, he didn't win the popular vote. So, like, now to win it by 5 million votes, that means Donald Trump is like way more popular now than he was the first time. And also, he won like there was a couple states that like were still collecting votes or whatever, but it had been called obviously. But like, yeah, he's gonna end up with like I think over 300 electoral votes, which like it's substantial. All of the swing states that like they were like battling for, he swept them all. Like it wasn't particularly close.
This is like exactly.
I think it's also a fucking condemnation though of like what the Democratic Party did. You know, it's just like first they tried to roll fucking Joe Biden out as just like a fucking, you know, I don't know, man, we'll try and coast this motherfucker down the hill and hopefully we get to the finish line. And then when that didn't work, they had to fucking pull back and then shove this fucking woman who like nobody thought she was popular even the last time when she ran for president, you know? So it's just like, I don't know.
I've just never heard Kamala Harris like answer a question.
I don't even know if she's actually technically conceded.
That's what my problem is. Like, it's like somebody asks her something, it's just like this run-on sentence.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck?
I mean, as of this recording, I'm pretty sure she has yet to even like speak to the American people, which is super weird for somebody who's running for president.
Yeah.
Like by now they would have at least come out and been like conceded or at the very least come out and said like, we're, fucking appealing or something. Like, make a statement. Like, I've never seen somebody run for president who was so terrified of getting in front of people and talking. Like, she has like a fucking phobia about it, you know?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, she tried to like dictate terms on like Rogan.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you know?
she only wanted to come on for like 45 minutes and she wanted him to go to her or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think there's
he's the fucking
lot of,
most popular media mogul in the fucking world right now. Like, he's going to do whatever he wants to do, you know? You have to go to him. His platform is bigger than yours, which is an insane thing to say, but...
And I don't think... I haven't watched the whole Trump on Rogan thing, and really, like, you telling me all this information is, like, the most that I've got. Like, we're literally, like, recording this, like, 20 minutes after I got home from work.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I saw this early on before my shift got busy. Enough people had asked me to, like, turn sports on to, like,
politics,
CNN or whatever the fuck I had found. And, the TV just stayed there all day. I was busy enough to where, you know, I wasn't, like, looking up after a certain point. Like, I just had a constant slew of people all day. So, I don't, and even that, like, off the rip, like, I don't know how many electoral votes is a lot. I don't know what the difference in.
Well, you need 270 to win. So, I mean, anything above 270, you obviously win, and then anything more than like 300, it's like, okay, you won most of these fucking states.
Yeah.
And then also there's just like, you know, there's just fucking states that no matter what, like, you're never going to see a fucking 500 and whatever to fucking 12 victory anymore, because there's just states that are never going to go red or never going to go blue for that matter.
That was something that I was thinking about too. Like, I just don't understand how the Northeast is blue all of the time.
Yeah. Well, it's just that's their fucking battle. That's their fucking front line.
Dude, I don't know. For every one blue-haired motherfucker that I see rolling around here, I know 5 fucking electricians.
Yeah, well, that's because you hang out with electricians.
No, I don't. I'm not just saying. Trades.
The city centers, the urban centers, like metro areas, that they are predominantly, it's like 70-30 blue to red, whereas the rest of the fucking suburbs is more like 55-45.
But whatever, I feel like Rhode Island was like historic amount of blue this time around, or red this time around.
Oh, like in this election tonight? Like yesterday?
Yeah, like I think it was.
I mean, I think they still fucking got like 65% of the vote.
All right. I think the last numbers I saw were like 55.
Maybe
like,
it was enough where I looked to see if like my vote would have mattered, and I was like, oh, not by a fucking mile would it have mattered. Yeah. So
yeah, but I even though still all that being said, I just can't wrap my head around that there are more Kamala voters surrounding me in my immediate area than like fucking meathead fucking hardworking bros.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know where it all comes from. It has to be like the student population.
Yeah, I mean, it's young people. Well, I mean, that's where Kamala voters like failed her the most, was like she had like a 12-point drop in Hispanic voters. She had like a fucking 10-point or a 6-point drop in like young voters, and I forget the last demographic, but like just nobody turned out for her.
Yeah.
And then like if you look county by county, like she didn't outgain Biden in the last election anywhere in the United States. So nowhere in the United States were there more votes for Kamala Harris county by county than there were for Joe Biden last election, which is fucking crazy.
I mean, I think they're kind of fucked, bro.
Like, I honestly think this was the best thing that happened for the Democratic Party, because I think finally they're going to have to wake up to the fact that like you can't just keep running people out and screaming Hitler. Like, it's just not working anymore. Like, and also, quite frankly, it's fucking insulting. Like, just to like be like, we're going to prop any fucking moron up, and all we have to do is tell you that the other person like is Hitler, and you're just going to run out in droves to vote for him. Honestly, it's fucking embarrassing that Trump didn't just absolutely landslide this shit, because it was like, it was teed up for that. Like, this woman did not do anything to get herself elected president, and it showed, you know? And, like, fucking, if you keep saying Hitler, 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 it's like, you know, read a fucking book, dude. Like, read fucking Elie Wiesel's fucking Night. Like, the actual story of, like, the fucking, you know, the rise of power of Germany and, like, what it means to actually be a Hitler. Like, just because Donald Trump says like some shit like, you know, hey, Haitian people are eating fucking Ohio dogs, that doesn't mean he's ready to fucking round people up into camps and fucking murder them. You know, like, do I agree with the things he says? No, but he's not, like, capitalists don't kill people. Look at all of the genocides across the fucking world. It's always, without question, always like a party of people who like speak to the middle class, proletariat and say like, hey, this isn't fair. We should rise up and get these other people. And everybody's like, yeah, you're right. And then those people are the people that fucking kill everybody.
Yeah.
Pol Pot, Khmer Rouge. You got fucking, Hitler and the Nazis. That's a socialist party. They're fucking socialists, Like, capitalists don't kill people because that's bad for business. It's as simple as that. You don't call anybody a Nazi. Like, if the biggest threat to Nazi, the fucking America Nazi terminology is the fucking Democratic Party. They're the ones that fucking... Yeah, I'm just sorry, I'm not saying they're going to fucking kill people. I'm just saying that's usually when you get enough people on your side to like,
blindly witch hunt.
Blindly fucking, well, how far are we away from, like, if I speak out on trans rights, am I going to get my fucking hands cut off? Like, that's a fucking reality.
I think that's where they're losing people, though, bro. They've become so about the trans rights, and like, I just feel like the heightened taxes and shit. It's like you're losing all the immigrants that actually work hard, that come here and think America is the greatest nation in the world, that think about where they came from and they don't want to go back. Why would you vote? Like, it's almost like the, like, what do they call that? The rat in a bucket theory, how they, like, pull themselves down when they're trying to escape.
Yeah.
Like, why are you going to fucking let all these idiots from your country come in when you came here? You worked hard. You go, you know what I mean? You're trying to raise a family. You're trying to do the right thing. Like, why would you want to pay more taxes?
Yeah.
And more often than not, those guys are from a more, like, conservative.
Oh, yeah. My stepfather is Mexican, and you'll never meet a guy who's a bigger like Republican than he is. Like,
probably not very open to gay and trans rights either, right? Like,
well, I'm not gonna out him for that, but I mean, he
let's stereotype. Yeah. I don't know very many people who immigrated here from South America that are like, hey,
they're willing to hear about the plight of the 17-year-old white kid who thinks that he's a girl. Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
but even them, like, I want to say, like, even those Spanish immigrants, they like look down on people who are willing to take government assistance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to start this fucking race war on the podcast, you know what I mean? But they'll be talking shit about about looking at people using food stamps at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Just like, Fox News mom would be, they're using all these food stamps. Like, they're saying the same shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, because they came here, they worked. They see all that money dissipating in taxes being used irresponsibly for collapsing bridges and wars and Ukraine and all this shit. And they're like, bro, fuck this. I'm not voting Democrat just because we've been trained to think that they are more accepting of the
whatever.
melanin. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's just, I think that they've lost themselves. Like, unless you're like this woke hero on your white horse, like, that's what I think these Democrats are. So unless they're going to throw the whole thing in the trash now, and they have to make like a whole new thing. Like, they're going to be like Bad Hulk Hogan or like the other Sting.
Yeah. I mean,
or like we were talking about, you got to come back as Kobe with 24 instead of 8.
Well, I think, honestly, you could have run out 150 million people, and you could have run them out to beat Donald Trump. The problem is, though, they chose one person who was absolutely devoid of any kind of charisma whatsoever, and on top of that, like, was just another fucking, another member of the fucking, the show, like, give me somebody who has ideas. Like, I'm starving to vote for a fucking, like, Democrat who actually knows what they're talking about. Like, I would love to do that. I am probably more of like a social, like, a liberal person. Like, I don't want like rules and rights to be taken away from people and shit. Like, I want that to not happen. But, like, you have to give me somebody to vote for. Like, I can't vote for Kamala Harris because she just didn't give me any reason to, Like, there's nothing policy-wise that she talked about.
Yeah. And like, to me, it just goes to show, like, this is all just kind of like a sham. Like, it doesn't matter who the president is. The president is not actually running the show.
Yeah.
Because if that was the case, we weren't about to hand over the fucking nuclear buttons and all that shit to this lady that can't even write a 5-paragraph essay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. It's just, it's to me, it's just a glaring, it's like, like, you want me to keep thinking it's just this one guy making all the things? Like, it's not. It's like a team. Like it's whoever they're been bought and paid for making the decisions behind the scenes.
And it was honestly just a wild stance to take in general, to basically like stand up as like the party of change, like being like, we're going to fix everything and this is what's wrong with America today and this is what we're going to do. And then to have it at the end of it be like, you've been in power for 12 of the last 16 years. Yeah. Like it was Biden, and then sure it was Trump before that, but then before that it was two terms of Obama. Like for the past 12 out of 16 years, it's been you guys.
Yeah.
Like what are we changing?
Nothing. And we've been dumping money out to other countries. We've been involved in wars.
Yeah.
Like everybody says the Republicans they spend all the money on the military. They're always in warmongering and shit like that. It's like they haven't even really been in power.
Yeah.
And it's like Obama was blowing shit up the whole fucking time.
Well, when the Cheneys fucking went in the Kamala Harris camp, that's what I was like, I've seen this fucking show before.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I don't know. I'd be curious to see. Of all of the shit, I'm more curious to see of the conspiracy stuff, how Kamala Harris's husband is in that company that's interested in
the lithium mines or whatever
in the Carolinas. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched the Rogan thing on the vice president though. That dude Vance, JD Vance.
Yeah.
I actually like him. Like I think if he had just run by himself, like I would have voted for him.
I didn't see any of that.
He do you know anything about that dude?
Nope.
So he grew up in like the Ohio Rust Belt. Like he was like a published author before this. I read his book, The Hillbilly Elegy, but he grew up in Ohio and his mom was like addicted to like opioids and shit. And he was like raised by his grandparents, and he turned like his whole life around. He like went to fucking Yale Law School. He like was in the military, went to like Iraq and shit. Like he seems for all intents and purposes like a normal, like well-spoken, smart individual. So
yeah,
I don't know.
The only thing I've ever thought about him is like, is he wearing eyeliner?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so, but there was the rumor going around though that like, because I read the book and I don't remember this part in it. Maybe I just glossed over it, but I don't know how I could have. But there was like some like liberal rumor going around that like in the book he talked about like turning like a couch into like a fucking masturbation device, basically. Like, do you know anything about like prison, like in terms of like how you like jerk off in prison and shit?
Like they make a towel with like a rubber glove or some shit like that.
Yeah, well, so I had a buddy who he went to I don't think it was a prison, but it was something like low security or whatever. But he basically like it was like almost like a cross between like a holding facility and like a rehab facility. I can't remember why, and he would talk about how he would get like a fucking he would get like a rubber glove, fill it with Vaseline, and then literally like tie it to the bathroom, like the toilet, in a manner that like you could press the seat down and like create like an area to stick your dick in. You press the seat down on top of it, and you just fuck the toilet, basically. Yeah. So basically, though, there was a rumor that he had done that to a couch or something, and I was like, oh, I remember that. I don't know. That was all I thought of.
You remember it from the book?
Well,
no. You remember from your. I
remember from my buddy telling me. Yeah, I don't remember hearing about it in the book, but it was just one of those moments where I was like, that like clicked a memory in me. I was like, oh yeah, I fucking remember that dude telling me about that shit.
Yeah.
In fucking in like 10th grade. It was a wild time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You remember that toy that was like, it was like that back in the day? Like you'd get it as like a stocking stuffer or some shit. And it was just like a fucking.
Had you jerked off into it?
No, but you probably could. You probably could have.
Okay.
But it was just like you couldn't. It was like you couldn't hold on to it. You know what I mean? It was almost like it would be like the size of a toilet paper holder, and it had like a liquid inside of it.
Okay.
And it was almost like if you imagine like.
I'm picturing like a Stretch Armstrong kind of like feeling thing, like gooey or whatever.
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
It was like made so like you couldn't. It would just fall out of your hand. It almost looked like a sea cucumber.
Okay. All right. I don't remember this thing, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, but it had like liquid in it.
I would be down to fuck it.
And now knowing what we know, and I just remember like I would get those for stocking stuffers from time to time and just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is the purpose of this toy?
Like that was like those are the fucking trial runs for the Fleshlight, basically. Like it was like these are the prototypes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was almost like a silicone Chinese finger trap. And if you picked it up, it would just like fall
out of your hand.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got to get some of these.
I don't even know how to fucking find that on Google.
I would imagine that if you tried to Google it, you would probably get a lot of results.
How about with you being so close to your brother in age? Did you guys ever get the game Crossfire?
Fuck yeah, we did.
Hell yeah, dude. We got to get one of those.
Just shooting ball bearings at each other.
I love how excited you got about that.
Crossfire.
Yeah, even know the commercial jingle, right? Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about that and I get it mixed up with the Transformers. I'll be like, Crossfire, robots in disguise. And I'm like, no. Yeah, that's not right.
Well, actually, that's weird because I said Crossfire and I immediately was about to say more than meets the eyes.
Yeah, I don't remember what the
rest of the song was, but it was very Transformers like.
It was very like Mad Max.
Yeah,
like
it was like two kids with like gloves that have like the fingers cut out of them. You know.
Yeah, and like metal.
Yeah, there's fucking lightning bolts and shit going on in the background.
Yeah.
They don't have like game commercials like that anymore.
They're like, dress up two kids like Snake Plissken.
Yes. Escape from New York. There you go.
That's a great reference.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did you see question 5 got turned down? So that's good.
Nice. I meant to ask, these guys were talking politics early on in my shift, and they were from Mass. And they were talking about, it's like, there were some interesting things on the ballot. And I kept wanting to be like, what's up with that one thing?
Yeah.
But I never got around to it.
Well, it got shot down, too, by like a wide margin, which is a good sign. So that was like, it was like literally 2 million votes to 1 million vote.
Yo, and also, I didn't meet everybody at the airport today was like, what a great day to be an American. Like, I didn't see like one person like being boo-hooey.
Yeah.
You know? Like, even I saw this one clearly lesbian lady. You know what I mean? And she was still kind of like,
bebopping around.
Yeah, she wasn't like rolling around like the end of the world had happened.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you could be a Democrat and not have seen this coming. Like, I knew fucking what did I call it? Fucking 2-3 weeks ago when I said like Trump was going to win a landslide.
Yeah.
Like, if you almost have me, you must have everybody. Because I'm the last motherfucker who should be voting for Trump. Like, I'm a white social moderate. Like, there's no reason that I should even be thinking about voting Republican.
I guess. I don't know. I'm
just saying, if you ran out like a quality fucking, if the Democrats actually got together and like fucking groomed like an actual candidate who, had business being in a presidential election, I would have voted for them. Probably.
That's the thing, though, that I want to see that would really like sway me is like the business.
The business?
Like the business mindset that like Trump has. Because I feel like he was doing pretty good the first time, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean.
Like I refinanced my house at a great rate and shit like that. Like, was that just because of COVID or was it because we were doing all right to begin with? But I feel like he was doing good. And then at the end, we're like, we got to shut the country down. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well,
I don't think he really wanted to do that.
I think there's a lot of fucking inconvenient truths when it comes to like the president in general, where it's like, we run the presidential election like it's a popularity contest, but like, I don't know, if you're a nice guy, that probably doesn't equate to being a good president, Like, do you know Ty Cobb, the famous hitter in the 20s? Biggest piece of shit in the fucking world. No racist.
About him, right? Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, but Ty Cobb, I don't want him to be the president, but if there was 2 outs and a guy on third and I needed a single, I'd want Ty Cobb, you know? There's a time and a place for everybody, pieces of shit or not, like, just because Trump is a fucking wild card fucking maniac who has views that I don't agree with doesn't mean that, like, I don't know, he probably has some business acumen, I would imagine, a lot more than Kamala Harris does.
I don't think you're going to, like, bully him on the world stage, you know what I mean? I don't think he's sitting there like, oh, fuck, I got to go meet Putin.
Yeah, exactly. That's just it. What do I need Donald Trump to do? I need him to negotiate me the best deal on the fucking national scale.
I feel like this is what I feel like Joe Biden is like the coach from the Waterboy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like Putin or whoever he's got to talk to is like the guy that stole his notebook. And he's just like, oh, my God. Yeah. Whereas, like, Trump is just like fucking Biff or some shit. You know what I mean? He's just like, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's a maniac.
Yeah.
And you're not going to punk him. And you're not going to punk his country. And that's like what I want to see. Like, it's almost like I want the dude from Jack Nicholson from A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't doing nice guy stuff.
No, he wasn't.
But at the end of the day, like,
you want him on that wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's mean or that's not how it's supposed to be, but
I mean, I just think it's one of those things where, you're fucking, you have skill sets, obviously, that apply to certain places, like.
Yeah. I just wish that we would move more towards like a Like, what's the shit? And like, I'm not a Star Wars guy, but I feel like every time they got a big decision, it's like Yoda and all these other guys are all in the room and they got to figure it out.
Yeah, the Jedi Council.
Yeah, the council.
Yeah.
You know, like if there should be like a fucking council.
I mean, there technically is. That's what the Senate and the Congress is. And,
nah, it's not though.
Well, I'm just saying in principle, that's what it is. Well, now the Republican.
It's not because the presidential arm is different than the Senate's arm.
Yeah.
Like if you just got rid of the president and you just had that
centralized power,
that council of things where it's like, all right, like, do we want to go spend all this money on war and blow this country the fuck up? Like these 300 people that you voted in power are now going to figure it out for you instead of just. I think that you'd come to a more.
So your theory is to just put one single unilateral party in charge of everything?
No, because you'd still have like a Senate and like elected. I just think it's still,
yeah.
I don't know. I just think there could be improvements made. Like I just don't think that the two-party system is where it's at. I don't think that like democracy actually exists. It's an oligarchy. Like let's call a spade a spade. And if you want to get to a point to where it's actual rule by the people for the people, there are some improvements to make on the current model that we're running.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so either start calling it a different thing or.
Well, I think also we just need to fundamentally figure out like what America is all about, because to me, if you want to, ruling it like based on what is the best for the world and ruling it based on what is best for the country are two entirely different things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we've kind of had like one foot in each fucking, world for too long where it's like, you got to pick one, because it's like at the end of the day, we're, both parties seem to be pretty comfortable like subjugating Asian slave labor to subsidize lower cost goods that come into America. I mean, I don't know if that's the fucking right thing to do, but it seems like no matter which side we vote in, both of them are kind of okay with that at this point, I
don't know. I think that's like the one thing that I did take away from the part of the Rogan interview that I watched with Trump on it is him talking about instituting the tariffs.
Yeah.
So, like, if you are going to end up putting the tariffs on China, then, does that turn around and make more U.S. jobs because those goods are now too expensive to come in from China anymore?
Yeah, I mean...
And at the end, I also think it could be like a health and safety kind of thing, too. Like, you're just assuming all this stuff is made the right way from non-toxic plastics
it's not.
And stuff.
I'll spoil that for you right now.
Yeah, so why are we letting
I'm not going to go into it, but I have an individual that I know very intimately that, like, works in that kind of shit, and let me tell you, it is not above board, like, in any way, shape, or form. So,
yeah,
like, there's tons of shit that, like, has all fucking kinds of shit that, like, you don't know about that even then, like, It basically it comes down to Prop 65, I think it is, in California, is basically like what they use is like the baseline for everything that comes into the United States, like in terms of like what is legally allowed. But even then, there's like a million ways to like fudge all of those numbers and shit. And like, unless somebody's out there like specifically looking for that, you're never going to catch it. Not at least all of the fucking goods that are coming into the United States at the rate they are.
I just think that and like all the shit that the FDA allows to the companies to put in food, and everything. Like,
have you seen those fucking like food, like the Fruit Loops or whatever, this package of like cereal and shit, where you read like what the ingredients are and like the fucking one that like gets sold in like Europe, and then the ingredients and the one that gets sold in the United States. It's fucking wild.
Yeah,
like they're two entirely different products, like chemically.
Have we talked about this? How it's because like General Mills and all these companies are like owned by Philip Morris.
Oh, I know. But I didn't know that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, like so basically like all of these cigarette companies that figured out that putting addictive chemicals into their cigarettes was a gold mine.
Yeah.
Bought up all of the processed food companies after they got rich making cigarettes and started instituting the same principles in it. That's why we have red dye number 40 and, sugar that's called fucking birch syrup and shit. You know what I mean? Like, so.
My favorite thing is the people who use like Nicorette or the patch or any of those like smoking cessation things as like their way of being like, oh, this is definitely going to help me quit smoking. And it's like every single one of those fucking things is owned by Philip Morris. Like, it's like, do you think for a second that perhaps they even know that they don't actually work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember they gave you smoking patches when you go to rehab.
Yeah.
And they were like, don't fall asleep with it. You'll have crazy dreams.
Yeah, no.
And I had I never remember my dreams, and I still remember pieces of this dream.
Yeah.
My brother might have it written down somewhere. I started writing it down.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the craziest shit. I got
like the moment you woke up, you're like, let me tell you about this.
Yeah, because I knew my tendency to forget my dreams, and I was like, give me a pen.
Yeah.
And, I was very desperate to get it all written down. But
Yeah, no. I mean, I come from a whole family of patch users, Like my mom was the kind of woman who used to take off the patch, rip like 3 cigarettes and put the patch back on.
That's incredible.
Yeah. We don't fuck around.
What an incredible story.
Yeah.
What would your Mexican stepfather be doing while this was happening?
My Mexican stepfather's like literally the pillar of like willpower. My Mexican stepfather smoked like 2 packs of Marlboro Reds a day for like 20 years. And then one day was just like, I don't want to smoke anymore. And then that was it. That was it. Yeah. You just stopped. All of a sudden. Like one day he was just like, I don't feel like buying cigarettes today. And that was it forever. Like, how the fuck did you do that? I quit cigarettes, man. It was the hardest fucking thing I've ever done. I've quit everything, and that was the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, that was brutal. And he did it like in an afternoon, like on a whim. He was just like, nah, I'm good. It's like, how the fuck? What?
I've had enough.
Yeah. I don't know. He's fucking crazy, though. He also dumps, like, fucking salt on, like, everything. Like, just by the pound. And the man has, like, perfect blood pressure. He's like a miracle of modern science. He also works his ass off, though. Like, he's a horse trainer. So, like, he's active and shit. He's, like, 70-something years old. Still, like, riding horses and shit. Like, it's fucking crazy. Eventually, he's going to break his hip, and that'll be the end of him, but still.
Do you call him, like, a gaucho?
El gaucho?
I said, do you call him a gaucho? I think
what's a gaucho?
I think a gaucho is a Spanish term for a cowboy.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm terrible at Spanish. I've known the guy since I was literally 3 years old. I don't speak any Spanish.
Step Papa Gaucho.
Yeah. I call him Armando. That's his name, Armando.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Oh, yeah. He's lived a wild life, actually. He came to the country, like, legally, which was another one of the gripes he has with everybody, where it's kind of like, fuck you guys, I did it the right way. That motherfucker, well, he knows more about fucking U.S. history, dude, than I ever will fucking know. Like,
well, he's you learn it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like, the test he had to take was fucking crazy. Like, who's the fucking 27th president's Secretary of State? It's like, nobody fucking knows that. He knows that. Like, that's the kind of shit he did. But yeah, he's a fucking interesting dude. He came here without even learning how to speak English. He learned to speak English from watching Johnny Carson on TV. And he was on the Mexican Olympic team. He was like an equestrian on the Mexican 1980 Mexican Olympic team. He bodyguarded for Kira Sedgwick, who's like a famous actress, but her parents were famous too. So like when she was a little girl, he bodyguarded for them in like New York City. Dude's lived like a very interesting life.
How did he serenade your mom? Was he like, "Hey, lady, you like horses?"
Well, my mom was just a divorcee, like suburban mom who like all of a sudden took up horseback riding as a hobby. That's where Armando came in.
Oh man,
yeah. But
that sounds awfully like the way Giselle met her new man.
Yeah. Well, hey, whatever.
She's pregnant.
Oh, really? With that dude?
She's like 44 years old. She's pregnant with her
good for her.
With her side piece's baby.
Yeah. Fuck it.
I can't. Isn't that like not that great to be having babies that late?
Oh, probably not. But I mean, fuck. If anyone can do it, it's a fucking 44-year-old supermodel.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's in much better shape than the average 44-year-old fucking American woman.
I don't think that baby can outrun the tism at that point, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
That baby's got offensive coordinator written on it, way more than quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a what is he? Is he Brazilian too? Isn't he like an MMA guy? I thought he was an MMA guy.
Something karate man. Because I remember Kevin Hart. I remember seeing the clips from the Brady roast. Be like, you let that karate man take your lady?
Yeah. Anyway.
I heard somebody saying that was, or I think it's Zolak actually. He was like, that's he's like, Brady's trying to act like he's bamboozled by the kids' responses and what everybody had to say and stuff like that. He's like, he's the most calculated guy I know. He's like, how did you want to get the story out there without you saying it? Let the comics dig it up, and find the best jokes to say about it. And I was like, that's a pretty solid move on Brady's part.
How many kids does he have with her?
2 or 3,
and then he has one with the who the fuck was her name? The
Bridget Moynihan.
Yeah, her.
Who he actually left while she was pregnant and started dating Giselle, I think.
Yeah, that was pretty cool of him.
He escapes that.
Escapes it like it was like like she tried to put him in a full Nelson.
Didn't like Phil Mickelson do some dirtbag shit like that?
I don't doubt it. Phil Mickelson. I think
he divorced his wife when she was in chemo or something.
Oh god damn.
And there's one Phil Mickelson and John Lackey, I think, did something like that as well.
John Lackey. Yeah, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it. I feel like if you leave your fucking wife while she's going through fucking cancer, like you should just get castrated at that point.
Yeah.
Like, unless she was like literally poisoning your food and trying to kill you,
yeah.
Like there's no other. You at least have to make it through the cancer, and then at the end you could be like, "Hey, we're going our separate ways."
She accidentally like gave herself cancer from trying to give you cyanide poisoning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're like, all right,
yeah,
this is done.
Anyway.
Oh, didn't you have you were telling me a story and I was like, save it for the pod?
Oh, right, yeah. Well, actually, I don't know how to really segue into this, so I'll just start.
Oh, you got a bad review.
I did. I got a 1-star review on Google Reviews. Yeah. It was some bitch came to the fucking bar, on Saturday night, and I'm watching. Like, I know who's here, right? So I have like 4 people who are waiting for seats. So fucking 2 people get up, and I'm like, hey, you guys, I got 2 seats over here for you. And they start coming over, and this lady all of a sudden comes out of nowhere and just like parks her ass like in the seat. I'm like, hey, I got these 2 people who are waiting, and I have 2 more waiting after them. I can add you to the list or whatever, but like you aren't sitting there.
We're kind of taking tabs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know? So to which she was just like, I've been waiting here for 45 minutes. Which I'm just like, no, but okay. And I'm like, well, no, they've been waiting longer. And then she was like, well, she told me it was all set. And she pointed like one of the managers who's at the front door. And I was just like, that wasn't communicated to me, lady. Like, those are their seats. Go away. You know, like I said it as nicely as possible, but I was just kind of like, I don't know what to tell you, lady. Like, these are their seats.
Yeah.
Goodbye, you know? So she got up and fucking left in like a fucking tissy and then like left me like a fucking 1-star review. It's like, go fuck yourself. She spelled my name wrong, right though, so I'll at least give her that. So
she didn't hit you with a Brandon.
Yeah. Every other 5-star review I have is like, Breenan, fucking Brandon, Brian. It's like, or a tall guy with glasses. But she did her due diligence. She made sure she got the double N-A-N. Good for her. But fuck her.
That is one of the best things I've seen. Like somebody giving my my manager shit.
Yeah.
And he's like wrote his name down and been like, make sure you spell it right.
Yeah. Oh, I've done that move too, where they're just like, what's your name? And I'm like, Brennan, Brennan. Get the fuck out of here now.
I had to give somebody the business today too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's yours about?
Well, so working at the airport, you get this fucking I don't even know like what you would call it. You draw the chance card of Monopoly, I guess. And it's all these bros that work on the offshore wind energy.
Okay. Like the turbines and shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they sign up to go for like a month or 3 months. They're out there, right? So they come back. They have a great time at the airport.
Yeah.
And it's always, next round's on me. And then you draw the line through the tip. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to work on myself lately because I really have been like noticing that I'm fucking fired up about these guys. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, more often than not, one guy leaves a fat tip and makes it all right for the rest of them. You know what I mean? And, I've been like, you got to chill out, bro. Like, who gives a fuck at the end of the day? It all averages out. You know what I mean? But I've just seen too many people be rude to customers and not have like any consequences whatsoever. Where I'm like, I'm doing it too. So this guy,
I want to play as well.
Yeah. So this guy, he gets this round, he orders it. He's asking me all kinds of questions about prices and stuff, and I'm like, of course, this guy ain't fucking giving me nothing, right?
Yeah.
So draws the line through the tip part, nothing. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, maybe he's gonna leave me some cash because that's happened before too, where I'm like fucking
steaming, and all of a sudden there's a 20 on the bar, and you're like,
somebody throws some loot, and you're like, all right. So he gets another round. I say, you know what, Ryan? You said you're going to work on being a better person. Just get him the shit. You know what I mean? So now it's like, $20 more than it was before. Nothing. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right. He's going to leave some money, though. Somebody's going to leave some money. And it gets to the point to where, like, they're kind of, like, wrapping things up. The shift change is getting close enough to happen. I go, I'm going to ruin this motherfucker's day. And he starts, like, asking me something about something. I go, hey, man, let me ask you something. How come you didn't leave me anything on either one of those credit card slips? And he goes, oh, man, I've been trying to find an ATM over here to leave. It's like, shut the fuck up, bro. You're trying to find an ATM. And now he's more at the point where, like, now I've embarrassed you enough to where you're trying to, like, explain it off to, like, your buddies why you're not tipping. You know what I mean? And that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I just kept saying stuff to keep letting him get fired up and shit. And it was perfect because it's like I wasn't like trying to keep it calm down. Like if a manager came over, I don't give a fuck. Everybody else does this. You're gonna get mad at me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so. I work all the shifts that fucking everybody doesn't want to work. You know what I mean? I pick up all the time. I stay late.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's gonna have any problem with me giving anybody the business.
Right.
And that's exactly how it went down. And he's like, I'm all done here. Da, da, da. And I'm like, you are done here. Like, and, so they finally left. And then everybody in the immediate vicinity gave me fat tips because they're like, I can't believe you had to deal with that. Da, da, da. When really it was like me that like exploded the situation anyway. Like, I don't know how I didn't come off looking like a fucking asshole in this, but
still,
I didn't.
Though, good for you.
Yeah. And, I'm still, I don't know. I feel vindicated. I'm not sitting here being like, I'm going to find out where that guy lives and burn his house down.
Yeah, I mean, to me, my argument has always been like, if you're a person who doesn't tip, like if that's just a stance that you take, that's fine. Then lead with that. If you come up to the bar and say, hey, just so you know, man, like I don't tip. It's nothing personal. Like it's something I fundamentally do not believe in.
All right, cool.
I would be like, all right. I mean, like at least you were man enough to just tell me that right up front. Like, am I going to bend over backwards for you? Probably not. But I'll make sure you get your shit because that's my job at the end of the day.
You're last in line for everything that I have that I have to do.
But to me, it's just fucking, you want to have it both ways. You want to get like everything quickly and you want to fucking me to sit here and talk to you and sit here and answer your fucking questions. And it's like, you're not helping me pay my bills. So why the fuck am I going to do that?
If anything,
I will give you I will give you as prompt service as everybody else demands that you will get. But I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to pretend like we're friends or whatever.
Yep.
At that point in time, if I'm just a fucking shittily paid employee, then I'm just going to treat you like I work at fucking Best Buy. Like, I'm going to basically look through you. I'm going to get you what you need, and I don't have to say thank you or you're welcome at any point in time.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to make this like a cold calculating transaction, I can do that, and I can do that with the best of them. But, like, I'm not going to sit here and fucking answer your questions. Like, hey, you know what? You want your fucking questions answered? Fucking, you take out your phone, Google it. Like, get the fuck out of here, But yeah, and then, oh shit, what the fuck was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no, I can't remember. Fuck it. I think I got all my points out. Yeah, I think though you're well within your right to do that, or you should be.
Yeah, I don't know. Perks of working at the gig.
Yeah,
I guess so.
You hear, not to go back to Trump again, but did you hear that he's like talking about like taking income tax away on tips?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a backdoor way of like, because then if we're not getting taxed on the tips, like what are we getting taxed on? The $4 an hour we make?
Yeah.
That to me that has a recipe for like, that's how they're going to like finagle that minimum wage shit in, where they're gonna be like, well, you can't do that. Now you got to be getting paid minimum wage. And if you're getting paid minimum wage, then maybe we shouldn't be tipping you all that much, like, I feel like it's just a nefarious way of just sneaking that in there. I don't trust it. That's all I'll say on that subject.
I mean, I agree. I do not trust the government.
Yeah.
So whatever they're up to, I'm on to it.
Yeah.
And we'll see. But yeah, there were people that had like, whoever invented up making this is fucking smart. I'll say that. It's basically like, I don't know what you would like. It's similar to the look of like a stamp book, right? Because I've seen a few people at the airport peeling them off, and it's a little like transparent sticker, and they write, it says "Vote Trump, no tax on tips."
Yeah.
And so they'll essentially pull that out of their little sticker or stamp book or whatever and lay it on your credit card receipt.
Okay.
So you'd pick up your little credit card receipt and there'd be like a little transparent sticker. Like they'd write like, 10 on 50 or whatever. And like the clear part of the sticker would like go over the tip that they wrote. And then there'd be like that little in red, "Vote for Trump, no tax on tips 2024. And I'd be like, this person like saw this and was like, oh, I got to get that.
Yeah.
I got to leave a little note every time I go out to eat.
Well, that actually reminds me. The other day we had he's a guy who like works. He's an owner of a restaurant, or like his family are owners of a restaurant, a pretty well known one on the Hill. And he's kind of a fucking piece of shit, like just jabroni fucking dildo. But he was sitting out in the restaurant and left it was like a $300 tab, and he left like an $18 tip. And then at the bottom he wrote, "Vote Trump, no tax on tips." It's like, so what? I'm not going to get taxed on your shitty tip?
Yeah,
Go
why
fuck
did you
yourself.
just tax me?
Yeah,
on
exactly.
This tip?
Yeah, you know, it's like that savings doesn't get passed to you, motherfucker.
Actually,
like,
if my math is correctly, you actually left me
like the amount that I would have gotten taxed. Like
no,
that's
like
it.
You left me. What you left me is less than the deficit of what you should have left me.
Oh,
right. Because if
easily.
a $300 tab, you should have left me $60, right?
Yeah.
So you only left me 20.
Yeah.
So you left me. You know what I mean? Like the deficit of what you should have left me is larger than what you actually did leave me.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Especially at working in like a restaurant.
Yeah. Well, then also just to like put it at the bottom, like
owning one,
vote
like-
for Trump. It's like, motherfucker, now I'm going to register for vote just to vote against you. Like, go fuck yourself. Like that was just, it was a wild thing. Yeah.
You're making me believe the government couldn't pull off 9/11.
Oh, well, I mean, there's no fucking group of people that are more spiteful than the Longs. I'll go to the ends of the earth to fucking ruin somebody's day over that shit. Yeah.
I saw some meme recently that was like, just got even with somebody from 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Just stay on your toes.
Yeah. Actually, I say that, and now that I think about it, your track record of holding grudges is way fucking better than mine.
It's so funny. Like, I'll be talking about somebody I got beef with, and even my barber will be like, "Are they on the list?" He knows about the list. So yeah, shout out to Jerry for being so flexible with my haircuts.
Your haircuts?
Yeah. That's really the airport that's been fucking me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you keep fucking picking up shifts, so.
I didn't pick this shift. Today's was not a shift pickup. It was like a call out. And I guess I could have just been a jerk and been like, well, I'm leaving when I'm leaving.
Yeah.
You know, but I couldn't do that. I felt bad. I could have done it to the company, but it's like you never do it to the company. You do it to the people that you're working with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm friendly enough with the people that were coming on where I wasn't just like, well, none of this is my fault.
Yeah.
See ya. Have fun. But again, I could have done that.
Yeah.
And it would have been just fine. But I don't know. Your boy's got business ethics, I guess.
Yeah. Business ethics.
Yeah, so I pulled up my little list on, stuff that we write down to talk about.
Yep.
And I waited on, like, an ultimate boss level individual the other day where it was, like, a lesbian with a vest with her ears tucked into her hat. That's an incredible...
Yeah, I mean, that's like, yeah.
That's incredible.
That's definitely a lot of tism going on there.
I just can't. I don't know who started doing the tucking the ears into the hat.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. It's
aerodynamics, man.
It is the silliest looking thing to me.
They're just trying to break the fucking the land speed record.
Like, I get it if you're like trying to fix your ears because they're all poked out like an elephant.
Even then, though, it kind of just draws attention to it.
I don't know. Oh, so there were a bunch of oh my God, did you see this guy? Because Comic-Con just happened.
Yeah.
So somebody's like rolling around the airport like, hey, did you see Lawrence Fishburne? Lawrence Fishburne was around here. And I'm like thinking in my head, I know who that is.
Yeah.
I go, but
Morpheus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not calling him Morpheus? You're
Yeah.
choosing to use all those. So Lawrence Fishburne? It's like,
Lawrence
motherfucker's name is Morpheus.
Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne's been in a lot of good movies.
Actually,
I saw one last night. I was watching Searching for Bobby Fischer last night. You ever see that movie?
No, I hadn't seen it before you even asked me.
Well, he plays Vinny, who is a chess guy in Washington Square.
Is he in New Jack City?
Oh, hell yeah.
So-
no, he's in King of New York.
Yes, because I used to have King of New York on like DVD or VHS or something back in the day. And I remember his name on that is not Lawrence Fishburne.
Is it like Larry Fishburne?
Larry.
Yeah.
It's known by Larry.
Well, he was also in Apocalypse Now, I think, under Larry Fishburne. Yeah.
You have such a Hollywood repertoire compared to mine. It's not even...
Well, I used to be a big
close.
movie guy until I stopped giving a shit.
I was like a big movie guy for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Oh, Lawrence Fishburne. Have you ever see Event Horizon?
Yeah.
Yeah, another Lawrence Fishburne movie.
I feel like that's one of those where I never really grasped
what the fuck it was even about.
Is there like space ghosts?
Yeah, it's basically space ghost ship. Yeah.
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 I don't know.
It was good, though.
I kind of put that in the same category as Memento, where I'm like, I think I understand the plot line of this, but not really.
Yeah.
And Mulholland Drive. Mulholland Way or some shit like that. Mulholland Drive.
There's so many movies that like kind of sound like Mulholland Drive that like I just conflate them all. Like Miller's Crossing, I feel like I mix up with Mulholland Drive all the time.
I don't even know what Mulholland Drive is about anymore. It's definitely like a murder mystery, I believe.
Yeah.
But...
Anyway, you know Lawrence Fishburne's daughter is like a porn star?
No.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if she's a porn star, if she ever quite elevated to that level, but maybe like a decade ago, like she like ended up being like in pornos.
I feel like I heard that about like one of the sisters from the Urkel, whatever, Family Matters.
What a dark fucking history this show has.
Yeah, especially Carl.
Yeah, no kidding.
Christ.
Yeah. Oh man, where's Eddie at these days? Was that his name? Was the son in?
Oh yeah, he's probably up to no good.
Yeah, probably. Or fucking Waldo. You remember Waldo from that show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dark days for that family.
I mean, talking about all of this, I remember. What about that kid Cody? He's not in Full House. He's in like some
Step by Step. I remember him. Yeah, he was in Kickboxer too. The big tall kid.
Who was in Step by Step?
It was fucking Suzanne Summers.
Yes. Yeah.
The fucking I can never remember the dad's name, but he's the famous guy too.
I saw a meme that was like, there used to be a lot of Codys when I was a kid, and like, what happened to all of them? And like the response in the comments was like, you're not taking into account all of the motorbike accidents that have taken out all of the Codys. Yeah, they're all dead from motorcycles.
Yeah, they were all fucking riding crotch rockets down fucking some highway in Miami going like 150. So.
Have you ever ridden a motorcycle?
Fuck no.
No? This kid let me ride his like scooter one time, and I don't know what, like I just had no sense of like how much I should hit the throttle, and I was just like, and I like instantly like put it down, and like wedged it underneath this car, and I was like,
shit,
damn. But like all of like the damage was kind of just like
superficial.
Yeah, you could just like buff it out.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in.
I want to say it was that kid's car too, and like as soon as
so it's a double whammy.
Yeah, like as soon as I did it, he was like, dude, you're going to have to, like, make me right on whatever. And, like, I wanted to be a nice guy at the time. I was like, yeah, dude, whatever. And then, like, the more I thought about, you're the idiot that fucking gave me this shit. Like,
fuck him.
You fucking jabroni.
Yeah. I grew up in a town, though.
I think that kid's name was Cody.
Was it?
Yeah. I'm going to have to ask my friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do some homework on that. I'm pretty sure that kid's name was Cody.
Yeah. No, anyway, I grew up in like a town though that like it was in the middle of the sticks, so we had like kids who had like quads and trikes and shit and like, you know, all that fucking shit, snowmobiles and fucking shit, and I just always, it wasn't ever for me. First of all, I have no fucking
Armando's like, we have horses, and that's it.
No, well, first of all, they're fucking expensive, and then on top of that, like, I never had any desire to go fast on anything. Like, it's not in me, you know.
I don't know why I love going fast, and I've never had to drive. You know what it is? Because my mom always tried to, like, she knew I was a wild child, and she was always like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Rightfully so.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, people fucking die in that shit all the time, you know?
I just don't know how I didn't break the rules and go and get it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, everything else, I was just like, all right, I'm going to buy it on my own and just do it. And I never had the drive to make that happen. I don't know why I missed out on that.
I mean, to me, like, if you're going to ride a motorcycle, the only really acceptable reason to do it is if nobody in your life loves you. That's it. Because if you want to fucking ride a goddamn motorcycle and then end up, especially in Rhode Island, there's no fucking helmet law. It's like, and then fucking, I actually, that's preferable, no helmet, because at least then if you fall off it, you're dead. But if you fall off that shit, like if any of my kids fall off that shit and then I'm wiping my oldest son's ass for the rest of his life, I'm going to be pretty fucking pissed off, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely think about getting a motorcycle for making that commute to work.
Oh, God. Then also, like, motorcycles, like, people who ride motorcycles are like, well, I'm a good motorcycle driver. It's like, well, that's great, dude. But you're on the road with a bunch of fucking people who are bad at driving.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not willing to fucking, you know, to risk my life on the hope that I'm on sharing the highway with a bunch of people who aren't fucking morons.
That's what I've been thinking about lately. Every time I see idiots on the road and I just observe them all of the time, I just think, Jesus fucking Christ, they allow you to vote as well?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, imagine this. You're driving going, 68 miles an hour on the highway, and some asshole who didn't see you all of a sudden moves into your lane, and he, fucking sideswipes you. Your car gets a little roughed up, and then at the end of it, you get out of it, and you're like, you fucking idiot. Well, now imagine you're on a fucking motorcycle going fucking 88.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You're just dead now.
Your arm's out of the socket in that guy's mirror.
Yeah. So, no thanks. No thanks.
Yeah, I always laugh at like when bikers get mad and like, this guy didn't even fucking see me. It's like, whoa, you're like this big in somebody's rear view mirror and you're going like 100 miles an hour. Like, yeah, he didn't see you. Like, no way. So you just fucking drive better.
Yeah.
If you want to drive fast, stay out of the fucking, don't be weaving.
Well, then also, like, if you want to be like one of the motorcycle drivers, like a Harley driver or something, where it's like, all right, well, clearly you're just on this thing because you like to ride on bikes, like for long distances. If you're riding a fucking crotch rocket, there's only one reason you have that fucking bike, and that's to go 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's it. That's your only fucking reason for owning it. Nobody is leisurely riding around. Nobody's going fucking 58 on that fucking thing on the highway. Nobody.
I think I would on like my first day. I'd be like, I'm scared.
I'm just saying, like, that's, it's kind of, it just opens up that whole world to you, I'm all set with that.
Yeah, the acceleration is, my best friend got a bike in high school. I think he was like a junior. And I fucking got on this thing gay on his back. And he fucking takes off zooming on this thing. And I had a hockey helmet. So I put my hockey helmet on. And I was totally unprepared for like what the wind does to your face. And it literally just takes all of your snot and spit.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, what the fuck? And then I got like the cage with it buckled. So I can't do shit about it. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're holding on to your boy so you don't fall off. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I've definitely driven cars way more fast than I should be in my life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was never even like that kind of guy, but I've driven in cars with people where like after I would get out of them and be like, I'm never fucking getting in a car with you again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever done that to anybody before. Usually I tone it down. I'm only willing to take my own life in my hands.
Yeah. Well,
Because like even I noticed when I was driving to the vet with my dog, I was like, why can't you be this calm driving?
Yeah.
When you're coming home from the airport. But shout out, I made a life decision the other day. I had to take my dog to the vet, and then luckily enough for me, there was like this smoke shop right next to the vet.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if they got a fucking binger in there so I can become a 2-bong owner and keep one in the car.
The 2-bong household? Yeah.
Well, we got multiple bingers everywhere in this house, but you need one that like fits in the center console of the car.
Yeah.
Or something. Shout out to our boy Zach. He's the one that like introduced me to the car bong. But he was bold enough. He would just like, if you're sitting in the car, he would have it like it's like this, I guess.
Yeah.
In the passenger seat, like the little, like the back behind the front seat. You know what I mean? He would just have it tucked in there at all times. And I'd be like, yo, this is fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like especially because I would open on Saturdays and he would be one of the servers that would come into close. He'd be like, yo, you want to rip the bong before you leave? Like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, now
you're one of them.
Found a fucking $80 little cheapo one. And now my regular thing that I've been hitting is like the car bong size.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to take the road rage out of my life coming home from the airport from now on.
There you go. Steps are being taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a better person.
There you go. It's fucking wild how quickly we've gotten to that point, though. Like, I remember, it was not that long ago. It was maybe 20 years ago I was smoking weed, and it's like, if you got pulled over with a fucking bong in your car, like, you were just immediately going to jail for, like, 3 years.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, now nobody even gives a shit.
It's funny. Zach got pulled over. I was like, how did the cop take the car bong? He's like, he didn't like it, but he was like, I don't have fucking time for this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's just it. At that point, it's just like, I'm not fucking writing this up.
Yeah, that was basically what it was. He's like, you're getting a big enough ticket for being the asshole that you are. Like, just know I don't appreciate it.
Yeah. That's an all-time line. How did he take the car bong? He didn't love it.
Yeah. He didn't love it.
Wasn't a fan.
Dude, that just made me think about this one time we were working at XO, and it was like the first time they ever scheduled like a college kid birthday party, and it got out of control. And I think somebody had to go home sick or something. This was literally just me and Zach and like 100 college kids. They're not listening to us anymore. And it was like a private party. You know what I mean? So they're like these entitled, I forget where they went, maybe Brown or whatever.
They sound like Brown.
Yeah. And so they start, so you know, they used to work at this place. So you got to go in the back room. That's where like the music brains are. And there was a problem at the time where you couldn't connect through Bluetooth or whatever because it's an old building and the bricks or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So they keep going in this room, and that's where the liquor room is. That's where like the cash banks are and stuff. It's like, yo, stop fucking going in this room. You know what I mean? Like if you go in this room one more time, it's gonna be a fucking problem. So Zach keeps telling me they're going in. I keep pulling them out. They're going in. I keep pulling them out. I'm like, just do your best. You know what I mean? Try to keep it going as long as we can. And then eventually, like, somebody goes in there or somebody opens the door in my line of sight, and I see a girl, like, in the actual liquor room part of the room.
Oh, shit.
Before, sometimes you'd see them, and they're just, like, trying to mess with, like, the music. You know what I mean? Like, all right, they're just being fucking piece of shit. But then when I saw them, like, actually back in the liquor, I said, get the... So then I flipped. I was like, get the fuck out. And, you know, like, it was like somebody pulled the needle off the thing. Stopped the music.
Like the fucking record skipped. Yeah.
So then now they're all trying to calm me down because I'm going apeshit. They're like, sir. And I'm like, no, you shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm being a fucking prick. And eventually, like, so they're all getting out. We're like, leave. And then the DJ or the kid that kept trying to hook his like DJ equipment up to the thing, we had taken his bag from that room and put it back behind the bar so that he didn't have any other reason to go in the room, right?
Yeah.
So he's like looking for his bag. He's like, where's my bag? And I see fucking Zach. He's like, is this it right here? And he's like holding it above his head. I go, oh my God, dude.
Drop it.
No, I didn't want him to do it because we would have had to like, this is still like new on in the place. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, I think we're both getting fired anyway from this shit. I'm like, if you throw this kid's DJ equipment across the room, we're definitely... And you know, he didn't end up doing it. And the kid, he was like fucking crying. You know what I mean? He was like so afraid that Zach was gonna trash his shit. Yeah. And then I remember seeing
he should have been, because Zach is a fucking wild card. Like you never know what that fucking guy's gonna do minute to minute.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I seen the kid like a month later. And he's like in there. I could tell he like catches my eye. He's like, "Oh man, that's him."
Yeah,
you know. And I all I can do, I like remember looking at him, and then I remember seeing him crying like a little baby about his little DJ equipment. I was like, "Oh, little baby boy." Yo, shout out to Zach though. We gotta get Zach in here.
Yeah, we do.
He's a funny guy.
He is.
He's got some stories.
He's a man of the people.
He could tell some great stories about the spot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we got too much into maybe not say his name, Tubby. You remember who Zach used to call Tubby?
Yeah.
Remember the funny thing he used to do? He used to dunk on him all the time.
Yeah, I do remember that. It's like the fucking busser is literally like talking shit to the GM. It's like
oh no, the guy that wants to be the GM.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That was great. Especially, I feel like after I left, he got even worse with like the fucking attitude and the fuck this and shit. So I missed out on a lot of the good stuff. I feel like you could be like, hey, remember this? And
he was fun to work with.
Yeah.
Didn't have the greatest attitude, but that's all right.
I don't know. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Well, I will point out the last thing that I had on my list is that I actually took so many bong rips of Keef that I went the wrong way to work.
You wrote teeth in the note, and I was just like, well, I don't even know what the fuck smoking teeth
so
is.
Much teeth this morning. Nice. We're going to have to start calling it that instead. Well, Keef, if you don't know, is like the pollen that falls off of the weed. And you can make yourself like a Super Bowl out of it.
Right.
So I'm just like getting carried away because it's like I'm working on a Saturday morning, right? And I don't have to be there for like, it's like normal restaurant lunch, not my crazy morning. You know what I mean? So I'm like up, I'm just like doing laundry, smoking Keef, doing this, smoking Keef, getting in the shower, smoking some Keef. Smoking Keef before I leave to go to work, and all of a sudden I'm like looking, I'm like, I don't think I'm on the right fucking road. And it's like it's crazy because like normally I'm
on fucking Jupiter.
I'll go into like autopilot where like I'll be driving us to like I don't know where I'll be driving Renee and I somewhere, right? And just automatically I'll be taking us to like the airport, or to XO or to something.
I do that shit
I don't know
all the
where
time.
My brain thinks that I'm going, but I'm not going. Like she'll be like, "Oh, get on 95 North." I'm like, "Oh shit, I was going to the airport." You know what I mean? So like a situation like that, like I'll be on autopilot to somewhere that I worked. But this way, like I wasn't going to the airport. I wasn't going to the tavern.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to XO. I wasn't going to Bodega. Like I was on Route 10 and I never like stuck to 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was just like going to like Cranston. All of a sudden I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
And like I went from being like, look at me getting to work. Like this is the job that I show up at like 53 when we open at 11.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm going to get there on time. It's going to be great. And then I like plug it back into my GPS and I'm like,
11 minutes late.
no, like 11 minutes before we open. Great.
Yeah.
Right on time.
I do that shit all the time. My wife gets so fucking mad at me because she has to constantly remind me. Like, I space out when I drive.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, I'll just be like, I'll look up and I'll be like, oh, shit, I guess I'm here. Yeah. And when I used to work at 3 different spots, like, basically, the moment I would get to the end of my road, like, if you go left, I would be going to either spot A or spot B. And if I take a right, I would be going to spot C. And, like, all of a sudden, I'd be, like, getting on the highway, and I'd be like, I'm not even, where the fuck am I? I'm on the wrong side of town.
I'm
like,
supposed to be going grocery shopping
exactly.
right now.
Yeah.
My wife sent me out to get salt and pepper, and now all of a sudden I am at Restaurant Depot for no reason.
I'm fucking dumb when it comes to that kind of shit. So I don't blame it on the Keef. I think that's just kind of, that would be there no matter what.
No way.
No, I mean, I'm telling you, I do it all the time.
No, because I got like a grin on my face.
Yeah.
When I put it together, I go, you just got too high.
Yeah.
You did it. You did it, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yo, I also thought that my gummy bear guy was mad at me because we were supposed to have like a business meeting.
Yeah.
And I texted him. I go, yo, what's up with today? And because we left the meeting, or we had left seeing each other, and he was like, yo, don't forget about me. We're having this meeting. And I was like, nice. All right. I think this guy's going to like open a spot. He needs some consultant work or some shit done. You know what I mean? So I hit him up that Friday morning when I was getting out of the air. I go, yo, what's up with Friday? I'm going to be out of work soon. Never got back to me. And then I got home and proceeded with my day. And I said, all right, I don't fucking understand why, So then I hit him up about the Bears like a month later when I ran out. And he never responded to me. And I was like, damn, man, is this guy fucking mad at me? Like he doesn't want to do the Bears no more, da-da-da-da. And then yesterday he goes, yo, are you around? He's like, I'm going to New York tomorrow. We should meet up so you can get these Bears. I go, well, fucking hey, bro. I got like no notice on this thing. Got him out of work at the perfect time. Like, so, I don't know. Now I gotta hit him up on Friday when he gets back. Let's see what's good.
There you go. Nice little business venture for you.
Yeah. The more I get into it though, dude, like I'd say even up until the point where I was like dealing with my lightning and being like, all right, like if I get paid out on this, would I go and drive a beater car if this gave me the seed money to like start my own shit?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like I would make that trade. Like I would make cool car. I would trade being cool car guy to like business owner. Fine, I would do that. And now that it's like I have the funds to do that, I'm like so apprehensive about
actually spending them. Yeah.
Not about spending it, just about being like a business owner in general. It's like, dude, I'm raking it in at the airport for like little to no effort, and it's giving me like a pretty good quality of life.
Yeah.
And it's like, so what do I want to do? I want to start a business and like never be home.
Yeah.
For, like, I don't know. It's like I'm doing pretty good right now. I think I'm at the point to, my wife and I are at, we're pulling a few triggers away from like being fully invested with the retirement plans and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kind of just sitting back for the next 20 years. And
yeah, I mean, hustling for the sake of hustling isn't always the answer. Like just because you had a dream of owning a business or something doesn't mean that like it fits into your life. And
it used to be like my creative outlet on things, but then I just became jaded with the fact of like, then
you just started watching TikTok videos about Jim Morrison being Rush Limbaugh. That scratches that itch?
Nope. No, maybe this scratches a creative itch.
Maybe.
And I just don't care about, it's not that I don't care about it, but I just think that like if you ask me, okay, you're going to put the same amount of effort into waiting on somebody at the airport and get the 20% on that check.
Yeah.
Or you're going to put the same amount of effort into waiting on somebody at like a mixology concept. All of the extra questions, all of this shit.
Yeah.
To get to some drink that they want to have.
Option A sounds way better.
Yeah. And it's like, at some point, I don't know, maybe I had to have made it to the mountaintop and be like securing myself to be like, I am one of the best mixologists I've ever met if I want to apply myself.
Yeah.
But I've just lost the love to apply myself anymore. Right. Like there's very few people in this world that actually want to make a drink that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because you're never going to pay back the amount of effort.
Yeah, I mean,
onto it. Like if you leave me a 20% tip on that and smile at me, I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like
thanks for the $3.75.
Yeah, that I'm now gonna split with my bar back and my other bartender. And it's like for what?
Yeah.
And even looking at it like, okay, I can go through all this effort and fucking have all these scratch craft syrups and hand pressed juices and all this shit to go do weddings and stuff. It's like I have to be making thousands of dollars to be happy putting the extra effort into this.
I mean, really, you just need to have an exit strategy where it's like, if you want to do that for the next 2 years, knowing that in 5 years from now the business will run itself,
yeah,
that's one thing. But
yeah, see, that's
if you're just going to be signing up to be the number one employee of your fucking business for the rest of your fucking life, like that sounds terrible.
Yeah, well, that's a great. I'm glad you said that, because it should be what I'm looking at doing. It should be with the intent of scaling.
Yeah, well, it's the intent of getting shit going the way you want it to be, so that way you're scaling your growth. And then when it gets to a certain level where you can start hiring the other people, you need to just have this then become like a self-fulfilling entity. It's like, all right, well, I don't want to fucking spend 13 hours a week making syrups, especially if I'm going to be fucking working 50 fucking hours a week at night, like doing all of this shit.
But I'd rather be doing the back end shit.
Well, I'm just saying, either way, though, it's one of those things where it's like it's a time sink, and the only reason it would be worth it is if you had like an actual way of getting out of it in 2 or 3 years, where somebody else is then running it for you, and you're just the guy in the back collecting the money. Yeah, you know. So,
but I just feel like the problem is with that. Like, take the concept that we used to run at XO, right? Where like the bar back. So they combined the bar back and the server position, which I'm a fan of, because I don't think you should be pooling equal money with servers as a bartender. So I was like, that's great. But then you look at the bells and whistles of it, if you will, and it's like now you have the least tenured, least knowledgeable person like being your face of the franchise to the tables. Yeah. They don't know the follow-up questions. They don't know the follow-up answers. They don't know shit. Everything that this person asks them, they have to now come get the information from you, which is a great way for them to learn and to develop themselves. But on a busy night, like, you can't have them keep coming back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So really, it's like you should be putting your least skilled people on the bar and having them like learn the drinks on the fly under the tutelage of your most skilled people who are out there on the floor talking to the people, selling the drinks, guiding them through the cocktail program.
Yeah,
because you need the smarts and the knowledge and the base of all the old school cocktails, you know what I mean, to put the twists on them, to offer the specials, if you will, to like the people that you're facing. So like the whole program that I developed over the quarantine and everything like that, it takes like 2 to 3 very well-skilled, personable mixologists to be willing to go out and be the face of everything, and then come back and send it, like, ring stuff in the right way. Hey, I need this like this. I need this like this. Like, you're the ones that are going to know how to break it down and send it and special instruct the things the right way to like the underlings that you're training.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, I just feel like unless we're doing some really high-end shit where we're getting paid for it, the effort's just not, you know what I mean? Like, the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Oh, 100%.
And especially if you've gone to the mountaintop where you've done all this cool shit, you know that you can do it. It's like, what do I want to do this for?
Yeah,
what
I mean,
do I want to do this for?
That's kind of like, that's
tough. Like, I'm trying to be happy just saying, nah, I don't think I want to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the rub with the business in general, is that like there are certain things that you think would equate to being successful that just aren't. Like, just because you like make cool drinks or you put in all of this effort doesn't mean that that's worth it monetarily, you know? Yeah. Nor does it mean that, like, you know, I've met dudes who work at fucking, you know, Ruby Tuesdays or whatever who make fucking good money. I've met dudes who work at like swanky, nice restaurants who don't make shit, you know? And it's all, I don't know, you kind of have to like check your ego at a certain point where you're just like, what am I doing here? Am I trying to be the best fucking bartender in the world? Because is that going to pay my bills? At the end of the day, I'm trying to make as much money as I can in the least amount of hours. Yeah. And, you know, if that doesn't make it so if going down that avenue doesn't somehow make that possible, like within a couple of years, then it's not worth the investment. But yeah, in a perfect world, what would happen is you would start off that business as the number one guy, and then you would have like, you know, your weekend bartender would be there to like assist you be the number one guy, and then maybe like one other bartender like who's just there to fill in, and then like 2 or 3 support staff members who like are hungry to learn, you know? So that way you can kind of like work it that way for a year or two, and then kind of weed out the people who suck, weed out the ones who like aren't there to get better, you know? And then over time, you have a rock solid enough staff where you could say, now instead of me working 4 nights a week, I'm only going to work 2. And now this person is going to have to step up and pick up one of those shifts, and that person's going to have to step and make one, and make it so eventually you just kind of like back out of the business altogether, where it's like, all right, well, now maybe I'm doing only the prep work, and maybe I'll just like pop in every now and again for a couple hours, like on a night, just to see how everything's going.
Yeah.
And that's it, But if you're just signing yourself up to be like the biggest bitch in the whole fucking place night after night for the rest of your life, like, who the fuck wants to do that,
I mean, I would do it if the money was right, but I
don't know. Even then, like right now, what would it take? What would the money being right take? Because right now you make good money and you're out at 1:30 in the afternoon. You have your weekends off, or at the very least more free than you used to, Like, what would it take for that money to be right? I mean, if I'm all of a sudden going back to now I'm working nights, now I'm working more weekend shifts, like not spending time with my wife, you would have to pay me, I don't know, probably 200%. Like, at that point in time, it's like I want twice the amount of money that I'm making right now in order to fucking do that,
Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's why I don't want to do like my thing is not a brick and mortar. My thing is more of like an event. You know what I mean? To where, but even then, I can pick and choose what I want to do when I want to do it. And
that's tough though, because you always have to be like ready to then jump on an event.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of like takes money out of your pocket. Then being like, all right, well, I can't pick up that shift at the airport. I can't pick up that shift at the tavern because I have to leave that open just in case I book an event for it, So like how many all of the money you're making at that one event, fine, but you have to factor in the fact that you took off
the loss
four
of it,
4 Saturdays because you were like, you had to leave that day open to see, like over the course of the year, to just see if you booked something,
See, that's the plight, you know? That's why I just never bought a fucking vehicle to get this thing on the road,
Yeah. I mean, you do whatever you want, but there's always been a reason that I've never had aspirations to own my own place. It's just because usually the only thing that increases is the amount of bullshit you have to put up with. Like if somebody said to me, hey, Brennan, do you want to own 5 restaurants? I'd be like, fuck yeah, I want to own 5 restaurants. Last thing you want to do, though, is own 1. Like, you're just that fucking restaurant's bitch for the rest of your life.
Yeah, because inherently people are calling out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like, you like, congratulations, you're the owner of 1 restaurant. You've signed yourself up to be the number 1 employee there forever.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, and I think that's why the dude who was one of the co-owner, or he is still the co-owner of XO, but like he had a successful restaurant for like 20 years, but that was what he was. He was that place.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of people were like, I don't know whether to congratulate you or whether to say sorry. It was like, to me, it's like what he kind of portrayed was like, I retired.
Yeah.
Like I'm
out. Yeah. It served its purpose and now I'm gone.
So,
yeah.
Good for him, man. He went to the mountaintop and said, I'm out. Now I think he runs the spot where he's like the bartender.
Yeah.
Like they do light fare. He serves the wine up. You know what I mean? It's like he's getting the tips and owning the place. And that's where I think where the industry is kind of going to if you want to be successful. Because it's like you're going to have to, if you still want to operate off of like the tips and stuff like that, it's like you're going to have a small enough place where you're not paying the hourly out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it's we'll see what it brings. Hopefully the no tax on tips isn't some backdoor thing like you're talking about.
I have a feeling it is.
Yeah.
I don't trust it. Anyway, I think we got an episode.
Kobe.
Wow. Oh, fuck. We should have just driven.
I've never seen anybody make a mix of like Kobe doing the turnaround look thing and somebody just dropping a get in the chopper.
Yeah. Do it.
All right. Give us a like, a follow, a share, a subscribe, leave a comment. Tell us to go fuck ourselves. Have a great day.
All right. Later, guys.